I'm really going to freaking lose it. Well, 27th, HQ of WWE. And obviously, everybody is anticipating for the unique reason that we're going to be wrestling on the roof. I guess. I mean, for me, I feel like Money in the Bank is going to be an interesting part of WWE in the certain aspect that is going to be in a different setting. No attendance. No one can get sick or die. But I think it's safer that they do it late of May than 10th May. I obviously don't care that much. I mean, there's even pay-per-views are back there from AEW from like the 26th to the 27th for Blood and Guts, and obviously the other pay-per-view. So we of course had Shayna Baszler and Nia Jackson triple threat match. Wasn't even a match. It was just them fighting around with ladders until Nia Jax broke it up with a ladder hitting both of them. Nia Jax, Shayna Baszler, and of course Asuka, Kairi Sane's not competing for obvious reason, with Asuka showing up this oblivious, weird promo that she did earlier in the night involving Tidy Asuka. I'm not going to mock it for obvious reasons. It's going to make me look dumb, ignorant, and for obvious reasons, I don't understand Japanese. I will learn Japanese in the near future. I'm not going to learn it in college class. I dodged a huge bullet. So, Jesus Christ. It's obvious she can speak a lick of at least some crooked English. Why don't she try that then? Because I'm sick of her trying to at least spew out Japanese to at least certain aspects of fans to be like, oh, I watch anime. I know what she's saying. It's, oh my god, it's so cringe. We, of course, had Zelina Vega with her high ass heels involving the MVP, just a weird segment involving all the Money in the Bank participants, and then it ended up with the MVP lounge. Then it awkwardly went to a six-man tag that Apollo Crews won. He bit himself in the ass by trying to dig higher up the tree, like pick higher from the tree, and then it ended up with him fucking up his knee and ending up not looking like he's going to be competing in the Money in the Bank ladder match after a backflip from the apron goes wrong. I don't even know why he was trying to do that except to showcase that he's athletic. Yes, Apollo, we understand that you're athletic. You had a weird segment with you trying to pick a fight with Andrade after having an argument with Zelina, and then you slap him in the face after you just pinned him in a six-man tag. And we're only a week away from the pay-per-view, and you only just slapped him in the face. It was the most awkward, weird segment. I already had rumors coming around that Apollo Crews was getting pushed. Why? Because you remember him being called Hoo Ha Nation? He's just a younger Ezekiel Jackson with a circus career. I don't even know why it's like they have the most filler faction on WWE because the OC's dead because Carl Anderson and and Luke Gallows are released. AJ Styles has nothing to do. I don't even know how they're gonna sell him back after getting literally buried alive. It's not like Kane and Undertaker being buried alive. We at least know that they're technically superficial figures. But AJ Styles, though, it's gonna be weird. Most of the other guys, like Jinder Mahal, coming back just to get a squash match using the Colossus against Akira Tozawa. Oh boy, I was really pissed off. It was so freaking weird. Like Jinder Mahal, they reference him the WWE champion. They're obviously gonna give him some weird mid card push. I really don't care in this matter. I don't. They're not even trying to push up Becky Lynch. That's been up our throats, going over her moment. That was an accident at WrestleMania 35, and then they just push her off as the shit. And yet she hasn't been live on TV or had a scheduled match in at least since WrestleMania. To be honest, all she does are these weird promos. She brings up that she beaten everybody, that the title got in her head. So why the hell isn't she showing up on Raw? I feel like it was a wrong time to begin with to give Becky Lynch the women's championship, especially if it's going to end up to any potential storylines. Especially when you have your own longtime friend and, of course, Four Horsewoman member. I don't even know why they called the Four Horsewomen other than a breaking point of the women's division, even though the Four Horsemen, that the name they ripped off, just dominated NWA. Like, I don't get that. They could have just called it the Mount Women's more or something else WWE would make up from their head that Michael Cole would randomly spat out next to it. It's boss time, but I'm not wrestling creative like anybody else tries to determine to think like they know how the fuck business work. Go play universe mode. Other than that, it's disgusting. It's a dumb, weird push. I've been seeing Becky just come around giving these anonymous. Everybody's just a fighting champion. Nobody else shows up a personality because everybody's like a baby face and they have to feel like they're making WWE markable. They always have to be like it's they're a fighting champion. There's a fighting champion. They don't have their own determined personality. At least for Chris Jericho, he made the AEW title feel legit. Moxley makes the AEW title feel legit. AEW wanted to make sure their championship looks prestigious. The WWE title should be as prestigious as it's ever been. It's like over a century of its existence. And most of the guys who've been holding it were jobbers or just uncharismatic or lost their personality because they had to hold up to a corporate figure. I mean, we came from the Scottish psychopath path that made Kurt Angle tap out to his own finisher to now being like, thank you, and oh, Claymore kick. It's like the equivalent of Randy Orton when he was saying it was only one RKO to Viperville. Nobody wants that shit. We also had that segment involving like 5 interviews with Charlie Caruso. Listen, no disrespect to the lady. I think she does give up some valid questions at times when it comes to the most awkward momentums into the show, especially after post-match moments where you're supposed to actually feel something. There's an awkward interview for you to oversell it. Like we understand the fucking situation. Just let him walk it off or something. And it just ends up with a goddamn weird scream off Nia Jax from like the third interview. We had at least one involving an interview with Angel Garza and Nia Jax. We had one with Apollo Crews after his match with Andrade that ended up in a ref stoppage. Oh God! And then it ended up the one with Nia Jax with her just awkwardly just shouting out, "No one could stop." And I thought the triple threat match was a legit match. Just ended off with no contest because Nia Jax came with a ladder where everybody else was just fighting each other with ladders. Because Money in the Bank ladders symbolization. It's a sign. It's a sign. And then freaking Nia Jax just screamed nothing. You're not gonna do anything, Charlie. Of course this bitch is not gonna do anything. And Nia Jax just treats herself as this complete bulldozing fat fuck monster, even though you're a snowflake, insecure, pre-diabetic pile of crap that can't wrestle a cinch without trying to break another person's neck, trying to feel like you're doing a good job or not. I dislike Nia Jax with a huge passion. We also had a squash match involving Ricochet and goddamn Ricochet and no, I am going off track real quick. Sorry, folks. We have a match involving Bobby Lashley against a jobber. It would be the same jobber used for Sheamus. So I think that the jobbers have a wild card rule. Oh God. Watch this dude become part of a weird tag team if this jobber continues getting beaten up. Lashley had a backstage conversation involving Lana, excusing her, excusing her not to come into the ring, other than "you're fucking annoying, get out of my sight." Could have been like that, and it could have ended in a few seconds. Plus, I thought they were teasering is Lashley breaking up with Lana, and Lashley's released, so there's no point of Lana even being involved other than just being a mouthpiece for Lashley. Even though I thought Lio Rush was not a bad mouthpiece. Poof, you're released, and you were on NXT, so that's already a demotion at itself. we obviously had Lashley win off a spear. He did hit a pretty cool inverted power slam, and he should be in the Money in the Bank ladder match. But they give it to old ass Rey Mysterio, and they gave it to fucking Apollo Crews or Bobby Lashley Jr. And it was such a weird segment. Lana didn't even come out to even like congratulate Lashley after the win or something. And then we had Liv Morgan against Ruby Riott for the third time. For the third time, folks. I want you to understand this. Why I dislike WWE with a passion. And notion that they forget long-term storylines, or at least the reason why we should care about these women. Liv Morgan came with this these Emelina based backstage vignettes. I mean, these weird vignettes involving her saying she's completely different. She changed her look. All she did was stop with the color of her hair and the colored tongue, and acted more femme fatale for no fucking reason, and just acted like Emelina, except she actually lasted over a day. And then she's just picking up wins off Liv Morgan. I mean, Ruby Riott and Sarah Logan and Lana, and then nothing's done after she got squashed by Shayna Baszler back at the Chamber match. But she picks up another win against Ruby Riott. There's this what this arm clutched shining wizard that Ruby Riott thought that she was about to get a win off, and she blew it off, and it was such a dumb near fall. Because if you thought it would be that easy to beat a person you couldn't beat twice, you're retarded. And it took no storytelling except shouting that I was your leader. It ended off some kind of slingshot STO that I completely was no some kind of flatliner that ended up she called I think the Armageddon. I don't care. This feud shouldn't even be continuing to go other than a reason to keep Ruby Riott on TV. This is the only reason they're doing this, folks. They have no equivalent to actually show any source of interaction or real storytelling other than, oh, there's women in the Money in the Bank and now there's women in the Royal Rumble. We don't do storylines that you remember. Or at least involving the men. At least try to do something involving storylines doing that. I mean, Otis and Mandy Rose played off to a take, and hell, both men and women are wrestling each other, so why couldn't you do something like that? Shayna Baszler coming off squashing everybody else in the women's elimination chamber, and we thought, okay, fine, she gets a rematch at the Money in the Bank pay-per-view. No, she's fighting in the Money in the Bank ladder match! Why? For some apparent reason, they think that's a smart idea. WWE is crazy. They think this is actually smart. They completely devalued Shayna Baszler. And they're trying to push off Nia Jax as the constant favorite from the commentary. Nia Jax, just look at the way she just obliterated Kairi Sane and didn't even know what a fuck a buckle bomb was and tried to snap her goddamn neck like a pocky. Jesus Christ. I'm not just saying that because she's Japanese. Literally because of the pale skin. And, Jesus Christ. This match was just forgettable. And so was the rest of the show. It just was aggravating, and it continued to just tell me that declining creativity that WWE tries to do, at least try to make their show watchable. I already told you much about the Akira Tozawa match. All there was just United States Championship match later on. That was the equivalent to, it wasn't as good as the Aleister Black and Apollo Crews match, even though it had no meaning to be good. And Apollo Crews only picked up 2 wins in several months of him being on Raw, even though he's been on SmackDown for a majority. He's the only person that changed brands. He was just on SmackDown, trying to align like an alliance or a tag team with Chad Gate, like Shorty G. Sorry, it comes out of my mind that, that's a real fucking name. And, it just ended up with something like that, and at least they could just drag this on even though it just ends up with Apollo Crews losing every week. So I can understand the change. So why not just equivalent the draft or something, or at least like show like there's been a discussion. Apollo Crews is now on Raw because of disputes with the office. Like they don't want to do legitimate reasons why some people like Seth Rollins, like he comes out of nowhere all because he's a rivalry with Roman Reigns. He just comes on SmackDown. Like there needs to be more into the conflict or like how to make this thing feels like it's a big deal that Seth Rollins shows up on SmackDown that one night. Or why NXT just showed up on Raw and SmackDown other than, oh, it's TakeOver. It's NXT. It's very little logic and reasoning, just a hype. Because they have lost every source of creativity or what made WWE feel like they were actually one of the more number one wrestling shows, and it just sucks ass. Apollo Crews acted like a dumbass, continued flipping until he actually fucked up his knee. Then they viewed it off at ref stoppage after an assault off Andrade that they had to end it there. So that was practically until Apollo came crying like he knew his wife was pregnant, his girlfriend was pregnant, and just walked off after Charlie tried to ask how's he feeling after he legit just fucked up his leg just moments ago. So coming in for a weird interview made no sense other than to rushly, uh, deal with the antagonizer because Apollo Crews was going out of nowhere. He just won a 6-man tag, and Zelina Vega just was like, yeah, you slapped my U.S. champion. You get a match tonight. Even though he's in the Money in the Bank ladder match, shouldn't you be focusing on different stuff? You have the chance to go for a world title, and the smartest thing the young guy does, the guy that's been the main roster for at least, it's not like Apollo Crews like just started on Raw or SmackDown. He's been on the main roster for like 4 fucking years. And he should think, nah, I'm not going to waste this opportunity. I'm going to wait until the Money in the Bank so I can get a shot on real championship gold. And it's like, what the fuck? And then he comes around the U.S. title match, does fuck all except feel like he's doing a good job. It was like a generic match. It felt like there was nothing really threatening on the line. We knew Andrade was going to retain. The U.S. title is as relevant as it is. He hasn't gotten a legit feud since his Rey Mysterio feud. Screw Humberto Carrillo. I haven't even seen him in 3 weeks. He hit him with the Hammerlock DDT anyway. Apollo, it was just weird. The finish didn't even have to happen. I didn't even know why they had to even make Andrade and Apollo even do double duty. Then it was Ever Rise against Ricochet and Cedric Alexander. Then they did this quick new finisher that I guess was supposed to be equivalent to them being a new tag team. A drop kick from the back of the head into a flatliner. And it was as creative as you can get with dudes that mainly jump and do drop kicks and super kicks. And then a shooting star press. I think I just said the entire match without even rewatching it. Practically, the match was as fine as you could watch it. It was just a quick squash match, even though these guys lost to the Viking Raiders. The Viking Raiders even came early on saying that they want the smoke from the Street Profits, and the Street Profits haven't been focused to defend their tag title since Mania, or do anything else after like post Mania when they were just debuting Bianca Belair and she didn't even show up before. I don't think she even qualified for the Money in the Bank ladder match. I thought they would show more focus into a young rising NXT star, and especially she got like 8 eliminations in the women's Royal Rumble. That should be a fucking record. And she was coming from NXT before WrestleMania. So she should be more pushed than Nia Jax. In that order. That's the dumbest thing WWE ever did. Then the Street Profits come around. I see Montez Ford trying to outstretch his neck, feeling like he's trying to exaggerate. And he's looking like Luffy took Vitakin and too many painkillers plus steroids while trying to move his neck around, feeling like Scott Steiner trying to finish a runoff sentence. And he comes around cracking his neck a bit, trying to feel it. We do too many backstage segments. You fucking think? That's practically your entire personality, other than you come around walking around the crowd like a bunch of retards. And I get it. Montez Ford and Angelo Dawkins, they're incredibly athletically gifted, but other than that, they show no personality except they shout and they can do exciting moves. I'd rather watch Crime Time. Yes, insulting Crime Time. I'd rather watch that because they were actually over and they were a fun team to watch and you wanted them to hold the gold. that just never happened, and somehow just Shad turned heel. So you get what you get. And then ended up with MVP finally finding his managerial career on the WWE after just losing to Apollo Crews, and now he teams up. And now he manages a team with Shane Thorne and another person. I don't know who the other guy is. All I know is just Shane Thorne or something. I don't care. I really don't. I don't even know why they're feuding. I don't even know why, other than just make Ricochet and Cedric Alexander look good for already depleting tag team. Just asking for the brand split to be killed, because we know that they're just trying to get either when Roman Reigns comes back over and find other ways to experiment with Seth Rollins to actually make sure he's actually memorable and make McIntyre feel like a real legit guy. That's practically it. I know if there wasn't a brand split, Braun Strowman wouldn't be an Intercontinental Champion or WWE Champion. He would hold on to the tag titles for under a month or some shit. Then he gets some crap feud. And WWE already can't do anything involving long-term storylines. The longest thing they had was involving the Authority, and the only thing it got over was Daniel Bryan. Next up was the ending of the show. That was, of course, the contract signing, and I hate contract signings anymore. I hate contract signings. They're not hype. The equivalent to even doing mid-card contract signings, or at least WWE, or just women's title contract signings that have no reason to exist other than to give weirdos promo time. I hate it. It's a weird, contrived notion that don't you think these guys already have it planned out unless they just do it just for the reason to just beat each other up after the show, even if there's other ways doing it? You think The Rock and Steve Austin had a contract signing in the middle of the ring? Did you? Miz and Cena? So many other title matches that happen. Just somehow Money in the Bank have important contract signings, even though there's nothing completely on the line except the WWE Championship. Buddy Murphy came out of nowhere after McIntyre slammed Rollins' head on the table. And the best thing was McIntyre saying, "You're full of shit." And that was practically it. He got Claymore kicked. End of the show. Rollins comes out walking away like the shit heel he is. And it just ends up as corny as McIntyre just just bring more of your sheep. We forgot the authors of pain exist already. So that's practically it of Monday Night Raw. Was Monday Night Raw good? No. I think people think I'm trying to add more onto that. Raw was terrible. It was terrible. The wrestling was off point. They can't finish a goddamn triple threat match. There wasn't even an attempt to actually tell that there's a match other than these women are in the Money in the Bank match. Pandemic. They don't try to actually make any superstars feel legit except probably McIntyre. Shayna Baszler feels more denounced that she's just another woman there. The overzealous point to just make Ricochet and Cedric Alexander a tag team out of freaking nowhere. These guys haven't even shared a backstage segment together. Just somehow Apollo Crews just came from a hopeful to win Money in the Bank into he fucked up his leg because he shot his shot. And Jinder Mahal just comes back, and Akira Tozawa just came from Titus Worldwide into Jobber. And Ruby Riott should just get released, ask for her release, or do some shit. Because she's obviously not taken seriously. You already lost 3 times in just under a year against Liv Morgan. Cut your losses. And I hate Nia Jax. That's practically it. I hate the I hate the show. I want it to get better. I really do want it to get better. But there's chances that it might not. But oh my god, the forced optimism I give myself, it just hurts. And sooner than later, that I really hope it won't turn into nepotism. Because I have no plans of that happening. But, that's life. But that's it coming from the DST show. Practically, there hasn't been a lot of positive reviews for the last few weeks on Friday Night SmackDown on Raw, and somewhat AEW because it kind of gotten sour. Plus, there's no crowd and not much of the roster you can see. But that's the situations that we have today. So that's it coming from the DST show. Like, comment, and subscribe. We want to hear what you guys would say about the show. What's to come and news are. I will have an update on Velveteen Dreams. Certain controversies from him DMing and then sending dick pics to some little kid on what the hell. We'll get more on that later. Thanks for watching.